Welcome to Chicago.
SportsTownChicago.com.
O'Hare.
Broadcasting live from Sportstown, Chicago.
Broadcast home for your Windy City Bulls and Chicago Dogs.
We're in a league of our own. Now, here's your SportstownChicago.com update.
It is 3:10. I'm Andrew DeBrooker with your SportstownChicago.com update, powered by the Illinois Media School. If interested in a career in media, go to BeOnAir.com. Cubs dropped the opener of their road series in Philadelphia last night, falling to the Phillies 13-7 in a game where pitching issues once again proved costly. Philadelphia jumped out early, capitalizing on limited fastball command and defensive miscues, and never looked back as the Phillies built a comfortable lead by the middle innings. Cubs look to rebound from their loss last night and redeem themselves. First pitch tonight at 5:40 on TBS. White Sox made news off the field, trading infielder Lennon Sosa to the Toronto Blue Jays as the organization continues to retool following an inconsistent start to the season. The move clears space for younger options as the Sox look towards the future. Bulls season is officially over, and attention now turns to the front office. Team president Michael Reinsdorf confirmed sweeping organizational changes are underway, while head coach Billy Donovan's future remains uncertain after a disappointing campaign. The Blackhawks have locked up a top 4 pick in the upcoming NFL draft lottery, positioning the franchise for another key building piece as the rebuild continues. Bears are just days away from the NFL draft, and Chicago is widely expected to explore offensive line help or potentially trade down as draft week approaches. This has been your SportsTownChicago.com update, powered by the Illinois Media School. If interested in a career in media, go to BeOnAir.com.
You've heard the final whistle, you've seen the scoreboard, but the conversation is just getting started. Welcome to the fifth quarter, where we break it all down, analyze every play, and give you the perspective that goes beyond the game.
You have a timeout. Decide not to use it. Curry, way down top. Bang!
That first pitch crushing! Here comes Chris Paul.
The lob. Oh, what a monster jam by the Andre Jordan.
Boise State for the win.
They hand it off to Johnson. Boise State has won the Tostitos Festival.
Game might be over, but we're not. Opinions, hot takes, and everything they didn't say on the broadcast. This is the fifth quarter.
Welcome in, everybody, to the fifth quarter. I am your host, Andrew DeBrooker. Thank you so much for tuning in today on this wonderful Tuesday. It's a little warm out, finally getting to those warm weather times. Today, we're going to be talking about some NFL draft, go dip into the NBA playoffs, maybe talk about a coach who maybe just left his team and their team that's going to have to find a new one, and then kind of check back in on Chicago baseball and everything going around there before, of course, we go a little offsides. I am joined by two gentlemen today. Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourselves?
My name is Adam the Glitch Schneider.
My name is Joshua Williams.
Yes, and these guys are going to help me today to talk about the NFL draft. Today, we're going to have Adam and Josh kind of talk about NFL draft before we kind of boot Adam to the production role and have Josh and I kind of talk NBA and then talk about everything that's going on in terms of baseball. But first, as always, it is draft season. We're coming up real close on the draft. We've talked at lengths about the prospects that have gone in there. There was a large period of time where we had like 3 shows in a row that were all talking about the draft and prospects and everything that we were looking forward to, and we were definitely getting burnt out on them. But I am excited now as we kind of draw closer to kind of deep dive back in after the rumor mill started.
Absolutely, and especially with Philadelphia with the A.J. Brown debacle. I mean, if you're going to ask me about that, I think a wide receiver for them, just kind of a little sneak peek in there.
Oh yeah, okay. Well, I'm in the belief of A.J. Brown is an Eagle, and I'm tired of this conversation. Like that's where I'm at.
Always prepare. Always prepare.
Sure, and like crazier things have happened in the NFL draft. As a Saints fan, I remember, us trading up for Marcus Davenport when Lamar was still on the board, even though we only had Breeze the Saints only had Breeze under contract for a 1 year, and going, we just drafted this random guy out of Buffalo that nobody has any clue about, and then he barely plays for us. So the draft can be very, very good, and it can also be something to look back on and go, what were we thinking?
Oh, no, absolutely. And one thing I do want to say is that this draft class is loaded with defensive talent.
Yeah, it's definitely different than draft classes of the past where there's not like 5 quarterbacks or 4 quarterbacks. There's not a whole bunch of offensive tackles that kind of really high and dominating the sort of conversation. Instead, it's mainly defensive players. So I kind of wanted to go to Josh first. I know you're a big Giants fan, and you've been talking about who you expect them to take. But now with all this Dexter Lawrence conversation, what kind of defensive guy would you be looking for at 5 for the New York Giants?
I would be looking at Sonny Styles because I feel like we're gonna. The idea and what I want and what they should do is the Giants should go out and get BTJ and flip Dexter Lawrence. That way, we don't have to worry about drafting Tate because we already have our 2 receivers to go, and that way we can focus on building our defense, and that starts with Sonny Styles. That's the route I want them to go. But knowing how they operate, I think we're probably going to draft Tate and probably try to work things out with Lawrence, which I just don't think it's going to work.
You did not keeping Sexy Dexy on the Giants. He's
Bro,
out of there.
If the man wants to trade, give it to him. As long as we get something back, and BTJ is something that I want back for him. So if they can get something of his stature back for him, I'm all for it.
That situation isn't looking so sexy dexy, but
Yeah,
I mean, if you can get BTJ out of that trade, that gives you a solid number 2 right there next to the league neighbors. That would be a phenomenal combination of wide receiver I would love to see in New York.
yeah, and it's interesting considering now what we've learned about Travis Hunter as well, that he will mainly be playing defense. And then it's weird for him to come out and be like, "Oh, who told you that?" Like your coach, your GM, that's all the news that's out of practice is that, hey, you guys are going to want Travis Hunter mainly playing defense. I understand if they still have some splits for him on offense, but now if you're going to have this guy be more of a corner, then you guys need that wideout talent. So it'd be interesting to me to see if the Jaguars are willing to move off of a Brian Thomas Jr., but I guess with the kind of supplemental play that they've had from like a Christian Kirk or a Jacoby Myers or some guys that they bring in that have worked a lot better, that they could be kind of inclined to, with what they saw from Brian Thomas Jr., kind of just leave him.
Yeah, and the thing about playing as a 2-position player, you put more wear and tear on your body, and you don't exactly know how long you could last playing 2 positions, especially if you're doing an offense and defense. It would make more sense if you played 2 positions on like a defense or an offense, like wide receiver / tight end or defensive back or safety. Just kind of naming an example here. It does tend to take the tread off the tires much, much quicker, hence the injury to Travis Hunter.
It's the Shohei Ohtani thing that we kind of talked about when he came into the league, where it's like you're burning the rope at both ends. Like you're having him do both, and eventually we'll having him do both, wear down on his body. We've seen now for his particular case that's not true. But most of the time, historically, that is how it kind of works out, where a player kind of struggles or maybe isn't necessarily as good on both sides of the ball, kind of has to find his like own sort of area to like slot in, like a Devin Hester, like a both oh, we want you playing wide out, we want you playing quarter, we want you back and forth to the point where it's like, okay, well now we know that you're an amazing athlete, so we'll just have you be the greatest kick returner of all time. But I mean, it's all about being careful with playing guys on both sides of the ball.
Mm-hmm. I mean, and there's just kind of overall in the NFL, there's not a lot of dual positional players anymore.
Yeah, this draft is kind of like big on like hybrids.
Oh, exactly. And we see it, and like you said, through the draft. again, more or less the defensive players that I'm seeing it in. And with how strong this class is, you could potentially utilize them in different aspects of the defense.
Absolutely. Who would be a defensive player that you would kind of have your eyes on there, Adam?
Or just like a particular team, like the Bears?
Honestly, I would say that like if you were to like put your stamp on it, where you're like, this is an Adam guy. You could just be first round, second round, third round. I don't care if it's you consider it a value pick or a diamond in the rough, or you're stamping this guy as like this is a certified, great pick. But who's somebody that you're kind of looking at?
I actually got two.
Okay.
My first one, guy safety out of Toledo, Emmanuel O'Neal Warren.
Emmanuel McNeil Warren.
Yeah. Thank you, McNeil.
Yeah.
I keep thinking O'Neal, one of the students. But yeah, I think Emmanuel McNeil Warren would be a potential, maybe a little bit of a reach, only because he more is on the second round draft stock for him. But I think a team's gonna probably go up and trade for, or either trade back for him, trade for him, or we just kind of get that reach. But if you've seen some of his highlights in Toledo, that guy is a dude.
Yeah,
he is good. Lockdown. My second guy is Jacob Rodriguez.
Yes, you have been talking about him all day today, so I want to hear what you have to say about Jacob Rodriguez.
That guy's an animal. Again, kind of looking back at the highlights, what we've seen in Texas Tech, him and David Bailey have just been a 1-2 monster. But the reason I'm picking Jacob Rodriguez is more on the realistic side, because obviously David Bailey's going to go within the top 7.
Yeah.
So Rodriguez, he's also a fast, quick dude who can just get to the quarterback, can literally split the offensive line just through and through and just get and sack. And we've seen it again throughout this past year in college football. Now, it didn't show against Oregon because Oregon just kind of laid down the law. But overall, Jacob Rodriguez is that dude.
Yeah, I like a player with a lot of production in college. I don't want to kind of be stuck in like that sort of Shamar Stewart-esque area where it's like, you didn't really perform as well in your last year, and at this big jump that we're kind of expecting you, it's not necessarily going to make it all the way there. My personal favorite, if I'm honestly putting a stamp on somebody, it is Arvell Reese. And I know on Blow the Whistle, Pepe said that if I were there, I would be talking up Arvell Reese a ton, and I will be talking up Arvell Reese a ton because he is a stud. This man is 6'4", 245. His only slight on him is that as a true protection, pass pro linebacker is not necessarily as great. So that's kind of my worry, kind of relies in there. Like, if he lands, I really don't want him to go to the Jets. But now with all the Ruben Bain news coming out, which I kind of think is smoke. I don't know if you guys have heard about that.
The 2024 crash?
Yeah, with the car crash and everything like that. And of course, it coming out now in the draft process always raises some red flags to me. It kind of seems like a team or somebody would have put that out to kind of tank his stock. But I would really prefer Arvell Reese in the Arizona Cardinals defense. They've shown before with Isaiah Simmons and Budda Baker and multiple different defensive players that they have a very fluid defensive scheme in the way that they run things. And I think like a hybrid kind of linebacker edge player like Arvell Reese would fit in perfectly in that defense.
Yeah, and I just want to say, one more thing before I hop off here.
Yep.
What we see in the draft, what we see throughout the college seasons from these kids, as well as the combine, does not mean it'll translate to the NFL. Everything we see in college, it's beautiful, but it needs to translate to success to the NFL. And everyone here has seen everything from a bunch of players, whether they're the first overall to being Mr. Irrelevant. So overall, that's just what I got to say. So teams out there, be careful who you draft.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if you have a Jamarcus Russell or if you have a Brock Purdy. Sometimes but that's
you're not wrong.
Based off of draft capital, sometimes we like to draw conclusions, and it's always interesting to kind of see how everything will section out. So when we come back, me and Josh are going to hop into some NBA playoff talk. We're going to avoid our Bulls at all costs, and that will be right here on the fifth quarter on Sportstown Chicago.
This is your home for sports.
This is the best fans in the world.
No better team.
SportsTownChicago.com.
Are you ready for this? Valley View Automotive has all of the hottest SUVs you've been looking for. Enjoy a test drive and the opportunity to drive one of these powerful vehicles off the lot for half the price. Yes, half the price. Now's the time to get yourself to Valley View by car, on foot, or even by air to take advantage of this outrageous sale. You better get here quickly, because this promotion is only going on for 24 hours, and the automobiles are leaving the lot faster than you can say four-wheel drive. Valley View Automotive, a dealership you can depend on.
Hey, I'm Andy Griggs, asking you to help prevent domestic violence. Domestic violence isn't a woman's issue. It hurts all of us. Women are injured and killed every day by their husbands and boyfriends. So it's time for men to take action right now to teach boys that violence against women is wrong, to help prevent abuse before it starts. Call the Family Violence Prevention Fund at 1-800-END-ABUSE to get a free Take Action kit containing tips on what to say to boys. That's 1-800-END-ABUSE. Teach early.
Indeed is the #1 job search user with over 250 million monthly users. Indeed's priority is to help everyone in the job searching process to find a job by uploading 10 new job opportunities every 10 seconds worldwide. With Indeed, you have free access to job searches, resume uploads, and company researches. There are over 10,000 employees at Indeed that pursue to help people find the job they are looking for. They connect with millions of people to new opportunities. Go to Indeed.com and sign up for free and create a resume and let Indeed do the rest to help you on your job search.
Hey, I'm Jesus Mauricio. Be sure to tune in every Friday to listen to Zeus Off the Bat, a baseball talk show from 1 to 2 p.m. where I'll be discussing and updating you on all things about baseball. News, predictions, reactions, and more about the Cubs, Sox, and everything across the league. Happens every Friday at 1 p.m. right here on SportsTownChicago.com. Don't forget to follow and share our Twitter and Instagram with your friends at Zeus Off the Bat. Zeus Off the Bat!
What I found! Get in there! That's how you end the quarter!
Welcome back to the fifth quarter with your host, Andrew DeBrooker.
Welcome back in, everybody, to the fifth quarter. I am your host, Andrew DeBrooker. With me is my buddy Joshua Williams. We are going to be talking some NBA playoffs today because it is time for good basketball. Gone is the useless, pointless regular season games where we have players that are 10 to 14 of them sitting out per. I saw that Pacers versus the Pacers game recently where both teams had 10 players on the injured list. Gone is all of that. We'll get to watch some good basketball. Starting off tonight will be Suns and Trailblazers, and then it will also be a Heat and Hornet. Those are both on Prime Video. That's at 6 o'clock and 6:30 tonight. And Josh, I'm just going to swing it right to you about the play-in games. You get any excitement from these play-in games at all? Heat Hornets or Trailblazers Suns? Anything that?
I think for Trailblazers Suns, I think it's gonna be a great matchup. I got the Suns. I think it's gonna be a great matchup though. I think like Danny Avdia is gonna show what he could do. He's a very underrated all-star. It's like a player who doesn't get his type of love. Dylan Brooks is having his career year, paired next to Devin Booker. I think the Suns got it. Heat Hornet. I think the Hornets got it. There's nothing exciting about that. I think the Magic take over and they beat Philly because of Embiid's injury. I think they just have the size to match up against Maxey because they have Suggs who plays defense and they have Anthony Black who plays defense. I think it's like that's kind of the matchup they need.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think for Warriors Clippers, I think Clippers have been going through this whole triumphant run where they've been this losing organization and then they flipped it around to end off the season 42-40. Is absolutely amazing. That turnaround was elite. That alone has me thinking Tyronn Lue was coach of the year. Just off of that alone, it's just like that's just an amazing turnaround. And I think the Clippers got it. Those are my plan.
I can see that. Me personally, I'm definitely going in favor of the Hornets against the Heat. I just feel like they have been they've been way hot, and they got off to a slow start. And don't let the 44-38 record fool you. I mean, this is one of the most efficient offenses in the NBA. Behind LaMelo Ball, which you heard that clip from Eric Collins earlier to kind of start the show, and then also with Con Knippel being probably a runner-up in terms of rookie of the year race coming down the wire here, with some people considering him to be the favorite over Cooper Flag. I just think that they're better in terms of shooting. Their offense is better. I feel like the Heat have dealt with a lot of sort of injury issues that kind of sidelined them recently, and I'm kind of going to go the opposite way of you. I think with Devin Booker just coming off of the injured list in terms of the Suns Trailblazers game, I'm kind of a little worried because I don't really think there's another scoring sort of threat on the Suns that you can really rely on. Grayson Allen's a game time decision tonight as well, and he's kind of who I would rely on for like secondary shooting. And I really like what the Trailblazers have been building down there. Donovan Clingan has found a great space. Denny Advia, who you talked about earlier, is honestly one of the most slept on players in basketball. He's phenomenal. He's so
the most slept on.
Nobody talks about him
because nobody talks about him because of where he's from.
For real.
And the fact that he plays with Trailblazers.
Yeah. It's small market, under the radar sort of all-star. And then you mentioned another guy who I wanted to point out that I think has been maybe becoming the number 2, the number 3 option for a Magic team. Anthony Black can hoop. Oh my gosh.
He can hoop.
Like, I am definitely coming around to it. I wasn't aware of how good he was realistically, and now kind of getting to see him be that number 2 option next to Paolo. I'm really intrigued in that. I do think that it's really dependent on what Joel Embiid do you get.
Right.
Like if you get Joel, okay, then the 76ers probably take it in my opinion. But if it's kind of what we've been seeing in these past like 2-3 weeks, where it's like, oh, appendicitis, he broke something in his face, and I've never seen an elite athlete with such a fragile body. It's absolutely insane. He gets hurt every single which way. It's not one thing or the another, And I think that's going to be a really interesting game. And then kind of poor Warriors. I mean, they're not
being the Clippers.
I don't think they beat the Clippers. It's basically on the backs of Steph Curry, and that is really it. And they really have nothing else kind of going for them. Jimmy Butler hasn't been playing his best, and
he's been injured for the whole season. He's out for the season.
Mm-hmm.
So it don't even matter.
No, Butler's out with a knee. Moody's out with a knee. LJ Cryer's out with his ankle. Quentin Post is out. Foot.
Pods might be the worst bet. Pods might be the worst basketball player I've ever seen. Oh man, he had 30 the other night, and it was like the world. It was like you ever see somebody like rejuvenate like their life? Like that's what the world was treating it like. He's so bad.
Not a big Braden Partnevsky fan.
Nope.
Yeah.
He's not good at basketball. I'm sorry. Sorry, bro. So sorry. I watch you play. You don't like. There's nothing exciting about you. And you're supposed to be this elite defender, and you can't guard the one. You can only guard the 1-2. You can't even guard a forward. You can only guard. You can't guard a forward.
Yeah, so it becomes like we just get the right switch on you, and everything's fine.
Anything is
Draymond and Kawhi both game time decisions tonight as well.
That might be harsh for the Clippers. I think.
Yeah.
I don't know. I like Benedict Mathurin though. He might have himself. He gonna have himself a game like 25 at least.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be an interesting game because if Kawhi doesn't play, I mean, the Clippers are going to be down their leading point scorer, their leading rebounder, and their leading assist guy.
He's running
all
the
in
show,
one.
bro.
Absolutely, he's truly like turning back the clock for us. But I kind of wanted to discuss necessarily how far you think any of these sort of play-in teams can go, because I don't think the Suns or the Trailblazers can beat the Spurs. I don't think the 76ers or the Magic can beat the Celtics. I have a hard time thinking that either not the
Honestly, the closest one is the Hornets.
yeah, like
I think the Hornets have a shot to beat the Pistons, but that's like we got to see what type of Cade we're seeing, because that team is so Cade orientated that if Cade has 3 bad games and the Hornets are playing how they are, might be Hornets at 7. Can't lie.
honestly, I can definitely see the Hornets getting hot and taking down the Pistons. We really haven't seen a good Pistons squad like this since like '04. It's been like 20 years. So it's going to be very interesting to see how they kind of perform as definitely one of the like younger teams in the East that you're not really sure about. Like I personally would have more faith in the Celtics, Knicks, Cavaliers, like kind of coming out of that Eastern Conference than the Pistons, just because of the veteran leadership on those teams and the experience in the postseason that they've already had. But as you said, it kind of all runs through Cade. If he's MVP level Cade, like we've seen through through a lot of the year, then it's going to be an incredibly scary team to run into.
Scary team, but I don't know. I got to see what Cade looking like after the injury, after the collapse lung, because the collapse lung is something nothing to play with.
That's something serious.
It's nothing to play with, bro. So I would say kind of just watching him, and then Duran's decent, but he feeds off of Cade a lot. When you watch him play, like his game is catering off Cade. That's why I keep telling people Cade made Duran an all-star. That's how I feel about Duran.
Yeah, okay. I can see that. So in terms of the Eastern Conference, kind of while we're on it, talking about the Pistons and everything like that, who would you think coming out of the Eastern Conference?
I got the Knicks as always, because I feel like I'm not gonna rock with nobody.
No. I said win the Eastern Conference.
Win. Oh,
I'm just playing with you.
Oh, you trying to troll? You trying to troll? I got the Knicks, bro.
Yeah.
But bro, we have the first round matchup against the Hawks. I am genuinely scared off of the simple fact that the Q Alexander Walker is right here. Can you imagine a 2-3 and Brunson at the ball and the Q is right here and Dyson Daniels is right there? What?
Yeah.
That's 2 elite defenders. Taller, bigger. They have the size advantage, bro.
Jalen Johnson,
bro, he's gonna have his way. Bro, they have a lineup where they can put Kuminga play defense, but that's scary. People are saying the Hawks are gonna win. Everybody, bro. Stephen A. Smith said Hawks in 6. Huh?
Ooh. Alexander Walker and Dyson Daniels both game time decisions as well for that. They're both game time decisions.
Oh, they're injured. Oh my God! Then Brunson's gonna go for 50, bro. Like that. I ain't gonna lie, he's going for 50.
There's a whole bunch of guys with game time decisions. So McCollum, Kuminga, Dyson Daniels, Alexander Walker, Gabe Vincent for the Hawks, and then the Knicks, Karl Anthony Towns, Kolek, Mitchell Robinson, and Josh Hart, all game time decisions as well. So we will see what those rosters look like kind of towards the end. Before we end off here, kind of want to get your quick take on the Western Conference. Me personally, for the Eastern Conference, I think the Celtics are coming out of there. I just think the combo of Brunson and Tatum is just too good. And then in terms of the Western Conference, I'm going to sound very chalky, but ain't nobody beating the Thunder.
Same. I got the Thunder. I think the only good matchup for them is whenever they meet the Spurs. I think that will happen.
That's going to be generational.
I think that will happen. It's going to be it's Thunder, Spurs, Western Conference. It's pretty much 2016 all over again, bro. It's going to be that type of matchup.
I feel like we're going to get a rivalry now between the Thunder and the Spurs.
It's going to be great.
And I'm really excited to kind of see how that goes.
I just hope Chet turns into this offensive player, so it's more of a Chet Wemby rivalry, because right now Wemby's just killing him.
Yeah. Instead, it's like Shea Wemby, and it's like faces of the teams instead.
Right, and I wish Chet can just understand that it would be better if they go at it, because they generally don't like each other. There's hate.
Yeah, that's why I really am looking forward to Spurs T-Wolves as well. Anthony Edwards and Wemby, especially after everything that happened during the All-Star weekend and kind of going back and forth at each other.
I'm excited to see what Wemby. I'm excited to see how much Wemby fries Gobert.
Yeah, for sure.
Fry him.
It's going to be incredibly interesting. All right. Well, when we come back here on the fifth quarter, we are going to check in to. Sorry, we're having some technical difficulties over here on this side. We are going to check into some Major League Baseball. That would be the Chicago White Sox and Chicago Cubs here on Sports on Chicago.
Back to your home for sports.
Here's your SportsTownChicago.com.
It is 3:40. I am Andrew DeBrooker, and it is your SportsTownChicago.com update powered by the Illinois Media School. If interested in a career in media, go to beonair.com. Chicago, sorry. Bears hold the number 25 overall pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, and multiple national local reports say Chicago is prioritizing defensive upgrades, especially at edge rusher and safety, after free agency left gaps on both sides of the ball. The NFL wants to meet with the Chicago Bears after the draft for an update on their stadium project. Blackhawks lost their fourth straight game of the season, losing 5-1 to the Buffalo Sabres yesterday, with the Hawks being fully eliminated from playoff contention. Focus lies on the young talent to continue to develop. Seiya Suzuki returned to the Cubs lineup and has been struggling after coming off the injured list with a batting average of .214 through 4 games. And Chicago White Sox top pitching prospect Noah Schultz is set to make his debut today versus the Tampa Bay Rays. Schultz has 3 starts so far in 2026 in AAA, pitching to a sub-2 ERA with 14 innings and 19 strikeouts. The 6'10 lefty with a wicked fastball and slider will make his debut tonight. Cannot wait. This has been your SportsTownChicago.com update, powered by the Illinois Media School. If interested in a career in media, go to beonair.com.
I sound a little cocky, but I think we're legends in Chicago. We really are.
SportsTownChicago.com.
We're all looking to save $1 these days, right? Well, Pino's Old Man is the perfect spot for pizza lovers with the $10 and under menu that'll make your taste buds and your wallet happy. Fried chicken sandwiches, just $6. It's so good I had to start working there just to eat it every day. That's not all. Grab 2 large one-topping pizzas with extra cheesy goodness and a 2-liter soda for just $26.30. Plus, order online to get 5% off exclusive deals. Family owned and operated for 30 years, open 7 days a week, and until 1 a.m. on Fridays and Saturdays. Check them out on the corner of North Main and Willowview. Pino's on Main.
Oh my God, I need some Pookie's crack cake. Pookie's crack cakes.
Yeah, girl. You ain't never heard about the best crack cakes in Chicago?
They're right there in the Bronzeville area, right at 105 East 47th Street.
They're moist, delicious, premium homemade cakes made fresh daily. One bite and you're addicted.
They got the caramel cake, butter pecan praline, and red velvet. Ooh, and don't forget the strawberry lemonade and a chocolate Oreo dream. They're open Wednesday through Saturdays, 11 to 6 p.m. Sundays, 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. And they're closed Mondays and Tuesdays.
Early arrival is highly recommended. First come, first serve. They give out tickets at 10 a.m.
Just mention you heard it right.
Crack open a beer and spread some cheers. The fifth quarter is back.
Watch for the slider in the dirt. Chase it in right center field. It's back. A 3-run home run to walk it up. Second straight night for San Diego. Holy sheets.
Welcome back, everybody, to the fifth quarter. I am your host, Andrew DeBrooker, and you just heard that wonderful call from Don Orsillo down there in San Diego for the Padres, who got back-to-back walk-offs, one from Xander Bogaerts with a Slam Diego grand slam, and former White Sox Gavin Sheets with that other home run right there where you get to hear him scream, "Holy Sheets." I was telling the boys earlier that for my money, that is the best broadcasting booth in all of baseball. I love hearing Don Orsillo and Mud go at it every single day. And that will kind of lead us into some MLB talk about the Cubs and the Sox. Realistically, first thing I want to talk about is it's time. I've waited for so long. I even got to watch this guy pitch in high school. I got to hear about this guy from my buddies that played baseball. A shout out to Kevin Farbus, who personally got to play against Noah Schultz, but he grew up in the area around me, and now he will be making his first ever start as a Chicago White Sox today against the Tampa Bay Rays. That is at 6:40 tonight. And if you don't know about Noah Schultz, I implore you, turn on your TV tonight, Chicago Sports Network, and tune into this game because this guy is outrageous. He's 6'10". He's a left-handed pitcher. He's a baby Randy Johnson, and his big thing with the club in the kind of sort of his career has been a command. Lots of picture kind of baby giraffe struggling how to walk kind of sort of deal. Was very snappy in his release. His mechanics were not necessarily as clean, and really interesting kind of to see where he is going to end up for the Chicago White Sox. Hopefully, he kind of blossoms in sort of that ace role, as we kind of talked about during the Sportstown Chicago update. He has pitched 14 1/3 innings over 3 starts in AAA, and he has a whopping 19 strikeouts already. Also, I kind of want to preface this as well before I hop into my next, baseball point. This will be a shorter show. We're kind of having some technical difficulties here that we really don't have any choice in, and so we will be cutting off a little sooner than normal. But to kind of hop back into more Chicago sports talk about these Cubbies. Oh my goodness, these Cubbies! I don't know, Adam, if you have checked. I saw that you were on Blow the Whistle the other day. You guys kind of talked about what the Cubs have coming up for them. Have you seen their upcoming schedule?
Not as of recently, but I know it's not going to be pleasant for them.
No, it is not pleasant. So right now we're in the midst of a series against the Philadelphia Phillies. Well, then we're going to go this weekend. That's 3 against the Mets. Right now it's against Philly in Philly. And we'll head back home, play the Mets at home. Then Philadelphia will come for 4 at home. Then they will fly out west and go ahead and play the Dodgers for 3, and then the Padres for 3 to end out the month. So just a real murderer's row of teams that you are kind of running into. I understand that the Mets may be off to a slow start, and they won't have to travel, and it will be back in in Chicago. But I am really worried for the mental of Cubs fans going forward here with these teams that they're going to face.
I just want to point out, I know I don't watch as much baseball, but just looking at the schedule, especially having a back-to-back series with the Phillies and the Dodgers, you might get lucky. At least just kind of what I think. I think you might win like 3 games max. It just looks like, just looking at this, damn, that does not look good.
No, realistically, like if you can, so what we got today's game on Tuesday at 5:40, then tomorrow, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 games. I think realistically now with losing that last game to the Phillies, if you can go like 8-7, you're in like 50-50 ball this, like just split a bunch of series or kind of take those wins. That would be really, something to be happy about. I mean, I understand that you'd still end April under 500, but I think for the Cubs, realistically, it's probably a good thing.
I mean, it's looking rough. And at the end of the day, like you said, if they can just barely get under 500 or heck, even just even it out, you're looking at least looking at something bright in the future. At least that's what you would think.
Yeah, absolutely. And especially with how well the pitching has been for the Cubs over the past couple, like really since their kind of opening day, kind of opening series blow up, they have absolutely been lighting it up. Edward Cabrera pitching to a sub-2 ERA so far. Javier Assad coming in with some great innings for them, and Jameson Taillon's looked great. But really, their bats are just flat. PCA's trying very hard to kind of do everything that he can, but he's been off to a really rough start. Michael Bush off to a terrible start. Dansby Swanson, another guy that you've paid all this money to, really not doing as well. Alex Bregman, who is a notorious slow starter, but is supposed to be that power bat and that veteran leadership, also not doing well. You're kind of fully relying on a Nico Horner and a Carson Kelly and Ian Happ to kind of drag you along. And even Happ is really only playing at a barely above average level in terms of Major League Baseball. So I really think that they need to kind of get their stuff together, and their bats need to wake up. And I feel like if they can do that, their pitching is good enough to where they can certainly come out of this stretch with a 500 some odd record.
One thing I'll say before I go off mic here, I'm starting to feel somewhat hopeful, as you know, both of us are Sox fans, and just this young talent that they had and some veteran leadership. It's starting to show, and you're starting to see some wins that maybe you wouldn't have seen in the past. This is looking, I think, like a bright future. I almost said feature. It's featuring, but it'll take time. We're still going to have a below 500 record, obviously. But just the way that the Sox are set up now is kind of getting me somewhat excited to what we could potentially see in the future.
Yeah, definitely with what we could see in the future, especially now with bringing Noah Schultz up. I know that we still have Hagen Smith waiting in the wind. We traded away Lenine Sosa, who was the White Sox RBI leader last year. Granted, I believe it was 74 and 22 home runs, so more so like middle of the pack for most major league teams. But in terms of what he did for the White Sox, it was very appreciative. But we kind of have a log jam inside of the middle infield with Mydroth, Vargas, Murakami now, and Colson Montgomery. So kind of clearing out that space with George Springer getting injured for the Blue Jays is going to be awesome. I love what I've seen from Luis Angel Acuna in center field and everything that he's been doing. I feel like he's really settling in. We just called up Sam Antonacci, and I'm really excited about that. But thank you all for tuning into this kind of shorter episode of the fifth quarter. I'm Andrew DeBrooker with Slim Schneidy, Adam Schneider, and Joshua Williams. This has been the fifth quarter.
I sound a little cocky, but I think we're legends in Chicago. We really are.
SportsTownChicago.com.